right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Frozen Oil. Once again, it's Rich. And it's going to be a great episode today because we got Wayner in the house. What's up, Wayner?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, buddy. You?
Good.
Quite the game yesterday versus the Leafs.
Oh, it's always an atmosphere when the Leafs come to town.
Yeah, I've been to a few of those. There's so many Leafs fans in the house. It's crazy.
You know what? I honestly stopped going because of that. Like, it's too annoying, and I can't stand. I didn't want to chance it.
Yeah, it's always like that when the Leafs are in town, when Montreal's in town. Original 6 teams, probably an extra 50 years of hockey over the Oilers, so huge fan bases. But having said that, we're going to need to right now get into the game recap. So let's start with some statistics here from last night's game.
Yep.
So the Oilers fall to the Leafs 4-3. Unfortunately, Draisaitl tied the game up there right before, with less than a minute left or about a minute left, and it was called offside, so they reviewed it and the goal was taken away. They got to do something about that offside challenge. It's a meaningless offside that has nothing to do with the play, and it costs the Oilers from tying the game up. Regardless, shots on goal, Wayner. 48 for the Oilers, 28 for the Leafs.
Yeah. Second game in a row, we've had 45 plus shots on a goalie.
So we've had 95 shots in 2 games. That's
crazy.
Amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling how we lost both those games in the end, and we're going to get to that in a second. Face-offs 52-47 in favor of the Leafs. One of the rare occasions we drop the category of face-offs. Power plays. This was a big one. The Leafs go 2 for 2 on the power play while the Oilers go 0 for 2. And I think myself, I've been saying it for a while, Wayner, we got to move Nuge off that PP1. Move him to PP2 and maybe put Jeff Skinner on there, because the power play just has no zip to it, has no fire. It's just been dull, in my opinion. What do you think?
Well, hey, I wouldn't be opposed to trying it. Why not? I mean, we did have one of the best power plays in history with Nuge on it. So, you know, I mean, I'm sure that's why they're a little bit reluctant to make that move. But, you know, what have you done for me lately?
This is the game 52 recap. 52 games is more than enough for me to tinker with it a little bit. And I'm not saying, you know, take Nuge off completely. Put him on the second one and just give someone else a try to get it going.
Yeah, you got to be willing to try something for sure if it's not going. Yeah, it's unacceptable that we go 0 for anything on any power play with that roster, you know, with that lineup.
Exactly. We have like an offensive juggernaut. We got to get some power play goals. Hits tied up 17-17. Block shots 24 for the Leafs, 7 for the Oilers. So, I mean, if, you know, 2 more of those block shots get through, you're talking about 50 shots for the Oilers in one game. Giveaways 12-11 in favor of the Oilers, and takeaways 7-2 in favor of the Leafs. So there is your stats for the game. And again, a lot of talk about this, Wayner, and it's something we need to address. It's something we need to address. Again, this is a fan channel. This is a fan channel. We're not, you know, professional guys that are from, you know, the big networks. But at the end of the day, everybody's talking about this on the streets here in Edmonton and on Twitter/X, and we got to bring this up. So yesterday we made a tweet from the Frozen Oil, and we mentioned that Rob Brown from 880 Ched mentioned after the game that basically the Oilers are doing nothing as far as trying to acquire a new goaltender, and the Oilers are going to be sticking with Stuart Skinner to go into the playoffs. And I mean, we all want Stu to be the guy. I've said this so many times, even going back to the birth of this channel in the playoffs last year, Wayner. We talked about it. We want Stu Skinner to be the guy. And
of course we do. Of course we do. He's a likable guy. He's fantastic. Local kid, local guy. He's
from Edmonton.
Media. He's just such a genuine, nice guy. Of course we want him to be the guy.
Stud too, but at the end of the day, from the kind of so far the games we've seen this year, those first periods are just killing us. We're coming back. Starting the second period down 2-0, down 3-0. It's happening over and over again. Yesterday, 1 goal on 2 shots. We can't blame him for everything, but at some point when you have enough, of a sample size to look at, I mean, the Colorado game, 3 goals on 5 shots. There's been a few games where, the first shot on goal goes in again. And, we've dodged a few bullets there with, a few games where they almost score on the first shot again. So I don't know what it is. Everybody's talking about it. And I just feel myself personally, I'm worried going into the playoffs because this is our window right now. I'm worried going into the playoffs, Wayne. I'm worried.
You know what it is, we're what, third or fourth? I don't know what the current standings are right now. Overall in the league right now. And that's
tied for third.
Tied for third. So that's with questionable goaltending. So anyone can look at it without actually watching the games and say, hey, well, what's wrong with your goaltending? I mean, you're third in the league. But it's just it'd be nice if he could just steal us a game more often. Like the last 2 games are perfect examples. Those 2 goalies that we faced the last 2 games stole those teams the win. We get those wins if we just have, no, I don't want to say matching goaltending, but just, something above average. It's just those leaky goals. Like he'll come up with a huge save once in a while, but most times it's just he's the second best goalie on the ice, and it's a problem. And again, like I'll say it again. Awesome guy. Like you want to cheer for him. You want him to steal that net and run with it, especially because he's so big. But it's just, maybe he just needs a year or 2, right? So if I'm the Oilers, if I'm the management, I find a way. And none of this. I hear some people say all the time, oh well, who's available? What are you going to get? Are you going to get? You find a way. You find a way. Just like Colorado found a way. Just like any contender's management that has a weakness on their team, if you're getting paid the millions of dollars that you are as a management team, that you owe that to your team to shore up the weaknesses on your team. And right now, the weakest part of our team is goaltending. Like let's address the elephant in the room. Here it is. We went into the year knowing we needed to shore up defense. Okay, Klingberg so far so good. Knock on wood. 2 games so far, he's been all right. Hopefully, he's a solution to the second pairing. But right now, currently, as we sit here today, goaltending is the weakest part of our team. Yes or no?
100%.
It's not offense. We can't put up 95 shots in the last 2 games and say it's offense. Yeah, they could do a better job finishing, but I mean, we're not worried about scoring. The defense, okay, hopefully now we can always add maybe a depth D-man going into the playoffs, sure. But right now, currently, as we speak, the weakest part of our team is goaltending. So find a way, Matt. Find a way. We're calling you out here at Frovenhoff. Find a way. There's
going to be people that are going to argue, Skinner is 9-1, and Pickard is 9-1, and we're, like you said, we're tied for first in our division, and we're tied for third overall in the standings. The thing is again, for a fan base that is a rabid fan base that is salivating to have had the best player in hockey for the last 10 years and not have a Stanley Cup, we can't keep saying, well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We need to get to the point where, like many people say, if we had a goalie that is, in the top 1/3 of the league, the Oilers are steamrolling the competition. The Oilers are steamrolling the competition. I'm telling you right now.
Well,
Steamrolling.
let me put it to you this way. Does in any realm in any industry, you go out there and you just talk about any industry, forget about hockey. In any industry, even if you were at the top, of that industry, you still look for ways to improve. That you don't just settle. Right now, the Oilers are settling on goaltending, in my opinion, and they have been the last few years. And I'm sorry, but that's inexcusable on the management's part. Like, it's inexcusable.
And the media too. The media doesn't talk about it. I don't get what, like, they are ramping on Evan Bouchard like crazy. There isn't a game in the last probably 10 games where they haven't just completely jumped on Evan Bouchard. Even during the game, you have these dinosaurs in the media that really aren't asking the questions that need to be asked, jumping on Evan Bouchard and this and that. And it's like, well, how come nobody's talking about the goaltending? How come nobody's talking about it? Like, it's obvious. It's obvious that, we're letting in these weak goals. And at the end of the day, yeah, maybe there's going to be games where, we outscore our problems in net. And maybe that's what the Oilers want to do. Maybe bringing in Klingberg is just going to be that, extra asset in the back end that's just going to make us this unstoppable offensive force. But at the same time, and that's happened in other sports, right? Like, that's happened where, in football, in basketball, where you just have this high octane offense that, yeah, you give up on defense, but you gotta, outscore your problems on the back end.
Yeah, and that's not happening with this team. There's too many good teams, especially in the West. That's not going to happen. We're
exactly.
Not there.
It's not happening. So, from a fan perspective, like, that's why we created this channel. It's we're trying to be the voice of the fans. And yeah, we might, not have access to all the behind the scenes stuff that's going on, but at the end of the day, they have a huge management team, like you said, to kind of address this issue. And if the Oilers organization was so, what's the word I'm looking for here? They know for a fact that Stuart Skinner is the guy. Why did they bring in Jack Campbell, Wayne? Why did they bring in Jack Campbell and paid him $5 million a year for 5 years, which is higher than Stuart Skinner, which means that's your number one goalie that you're bringing in? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, they weren't convinced back then, is what you're saying. They weren't convinced back then. He outplayed Campbell. He stole the job. And right now, he's had more than enough time to prove that he could actually take us over the top. And God love the guy. Again, I can't stress this enough. Great guy. Like, he's the kind of guy you'd want to have a beer with, like, great guy. But the goaltending just has to improve. And maybe even for Stuart Skinner's sake, let's bring in a goaltender that can actually push him for starts, and Stuart Skinner will improve on his own. It's just natural evolution. You're going to improve when you're being pushed. And right now, I mean, with all due respect to Calvin Pickard, he's been great. He's a solid backup. I'd love to have him as a backup, but he's not pushing Stuart Skinner out of many starts. So what happens is you get naturally complacent, and then here we go. Oh, here's a leaky goal. Here's another leaky goal. Here, oh well, we might win the game. And it shows good on his record, but the numbers just aren't there overall. Anyone who watches the games can see most games, can't say every game, but most games, the other goalie's playing better than our goal. And it's just, if you identify that as a weakness, and most fans that we talk to do, how come the management doesn't see that? And if they do see that, and they are try hard. Get it done. No excuses. You got a month left or whatever it is before the trade deadline. You cannot let that trade deadline pass without a solution and goal. Right now, I want to touch on Leon Draisaitl, if I may.
Yeah, 100%.
I think this may be the best year he's ever played in his life.
I agree.
Even his Hart Trophy year.
I agree.
This is the best I've ever seen Leon Draisaitl play. We got Leon Draisaitl at his peak. We got McDavid at his peak, or in that area.
He came into the league at his peak.
Oh yeah, exactly. McDavid's whole career is his peak, but honestly,
we can't waste this opportunity, Wayne. That's what you're saying.
We can't waste this opportunity, and especially if we have a chance to win the division. We get that division. We go in solid. We got now the playoff, more than enough playoff experience. You have to have, when the offense isn't going one night, you got to have that guy back there. We say, okay, you know what? Hey, he's got us tonight. He's got us tonight. And you just don't say that.
It's the most important position. It's the most important position.
Of course. And anyone who wants to talk about, we don't got much room under the cap, then make a move. Then make it work. Do not come in with excuses and say, we tried this, we made calls here, we don't have much room on the cap. Then make room. That's your job as management. You owe it to this team, and you've owed it to this team. The last few years,
you owe it to this fan base. Forget about just the team. You owe it to this fan base.
Yeah, to everybody.
That's been there through the decade of darkness. That's been there after trading Gretzky. That's been there from all the years where we couldn't afford to keep our players and always just getting knocked out in the first round. This fan base deserves this, and it's just, to me, it drives me nuts that, again, we've had Connor McDavid. This is his 10th year. You have Connor McDavid for 3 years at an entry-level contract. That alone in itself, should show the fans that, look, the management is not doing enough to give this guy what's necessary, and it's just, it starts again with the biggest, weakest link over the last 10 years in the McDavid era, clearly, is goaltending. And we still have the same goalie coach, Wayne.
Yeah.
We've been through 6 head coaches. We still have the same goalie coach. We've changed 6 head coaches, and we still have the same goalie coach.
Oh, man.
So, and then there's the other thing where, God forbid, if Stuart Skinner gets injured, right? Like, you almost have to bring in another goalie, because you can't waste this year. If the decision is Stuart Skinner is the guy, and something happens to him, are we going to go into the Stanley Cup playoffs with Calvin Pickard as our number 1? I don't know, man. It's
not even that much of a secret. Everybody talked about it. The biggest weakness on the Oilers going in, and the reason why they can't put him, some people can't put him as serious Stanley Cup contenders, is because there's always issues at goal. So everybody knows it. So how come our management doesn't do it? I don't know. And then you want to say, who's out there? Again, find a way. Colorado found a way. New Jersey found a way. Find a way. I don't care if what it takes.
This isn't hockey related, but the Lakers just snagged Doncic basically from the Mavs. If that trade can happen, if Rantanen can happen, trades can happen. You just got to be able to do it. You got to be aggressive, like you said. All right, let's move over on to X, and I'm going to take this opportunity, as always. Waiter, we've surpassed 500 subscribers. Can you believe it?
Congratulations, my friend.
Yeah. So, thank you
all for the support. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for all the support. And like I said, if you can like this video or consider subscribing to the channel, we'd really appreciate it. And we're going to move on to X now. You can follow us at Frozen Oil Hockey. That is our tag. We just surpassed 700 followers on there, and we are having a blast with it. So let's get to X. So we're going to take a look at this first one from World Hockey Report. Maybe hit someone. The Oilers are way too soft. So obviously referencing this goal by Mitch Marner. Stick check, goal.
Yeah. And it's almost like hitting's not allowed on a star player.
And the Oilers, there's been games they've been in the single digits in NHL games for hitting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, that's another area they need to improve on.
just wanted to share that goal there. And then now, again, so many people that want to defend what's going on. These people that I'm about to mention, their comments on Twitter X. I mean, these are diehard Oiler fans that every single game, they are live tweeting during the game. These are hardcore fans. And I'm just going to run through these, Wayner, okay?
Yep.
So feel free to chirp in at any moment. So
Sure.
Here's one from Schmitty the Goat at Schmitty G. Wall has saved all 14 shots against in the first period. I wonder what that's like. An Oilers fan will never know. Obviously referring to Stuart Skinner not being able to match that.
Yeah.
Here's one from Long Live the King at Stephen J. Jaw Mills. The most secure job in the world, a meteorologist and the Oilers goalie coach. Here's one from Vince at Oilers_97. Maybe the Oilers can play Pickard every first period from now on.
Hey, if we don't find another goalie, that might not be a bad strategy. I like that one.
I like that one too. Here's one from the always entertaining Daniel Fika at Oilers49er. Get a goalie by the deadline. Every game he's sleeping. Not good enough for a cup contender. OEG, wake up and do your job as a front office.
100%. We've been screaming from the rooftops about this. Yes.
Yeah, Daniel Fika does not hold back. Here's one from Matt at Nuge. The Oilers showed they're a goalie away from being unbeatable. Skinner is a not bad option, but Skinner is the obvious improvement we need.
Exactly. And again, I'll say it again. We're third or whatever in the league. Even if we were first in the league, and this is how we were, this is our goaltending, I'd be saying the same thing. It doesn't matter where you are in the standings. It's about your team and what you need to do is to improve it. And that's the job of management. Improve your team wherever you see fit. And right now it's obvious. Improve it. I'm not saying we have to let go of Skinner. He doesn't have to go back the other way, but we need that's the obvious area of improvement. So do it. That's it. Do it. Stop talking about it. Just do it.
100%.
Stay on the phone day and night until you find a solution.
100%. And the last management, I mean, during the McDavid era, with Chiarelli and Holland, I mean, again, wasted, just completely wasted. Connor McDavid, completely wasted. Connor McDavid's years.
Frustrating to think about, yeah.
So frustrating, and hopefully this management group. I mean, this is Bowman's, first crack at it, but I mean, there's no room for error. Let's go on to the next one from Sean at Oilers fan Sean. Sorry, Oilers fans. Stuart Skinner is not the goalie we need. We just cannot rely on what version will show up on any given game. Just so frustrating, game in and game out. Imagine if we had a true starting goaltender.
Yeah, and let's not forget he was pulled a few games last playoff run. So it's not like he led us there by himself last year, right? Like
it's the consistency. He'll have games where you say sign this guy to a huge contract, right? But then he'll follow up with a really bad game, and it's just there's no consistency. Yeah. Here's one from Ark at Archaeologuy. Skinner cost them this game. As frustrated as I am with Klingberg being offside, it comes down to the Oilers not having a real goalie. Again, Skinner's on the hot stove. Here's Klima's lid at Thack Attack 41. Oilers put up 45 shots. Their goalie put up an .857 and they lose by a goal. So disheartening every goddamn time.
Yeah. I like that handle, by the way. Klima's lid.
Yeah, it's awesome. There's another guy. His name's Chill Ranford. I'm so jealous of that one.
Yeah.
Here's Travis Dakin at Travis Dakin. Oilers will win the cup with a real goalie. Just so much better than everyone else. And I agree with that one 100%. The Oilers, sometimes, Wayne, the Oilers, even on 5-on-5, it looks like they're on a power play.
Oh, the league is never in the modern day era of hockey. The league hasn't seen a lineup like that. Like maybe you could compare Colorado or back in the day the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Blackhawks, but Like, we are one of those teams, if not better than those teams. If we just had like the goaltending solved, how many President's trophies have we won with this McDavid team? Never. We've never done it.
We haven't won our division. Forget about the President's Trophy. We haven't won our division.
How is that possible? If you just think about it logically, how does that even work math-wise?
It's, to me, again, it's inept management. It's inept management. They cannot do their job.
Of course it is. They're actually the weakest part of our team.
100%. Let's go on to the always entertaining Captain Jack. Not sure you can blame Oilers fans for being tired of constantly seeing shot clocks that look like this. So obviously he has a picture here with Toronto has 4 goals on 19 shots and Edmonton has 1 goal on 34 shots. So obviously a shot at the goaltending again there. Here's one from DC at David _co. Stuart Skinner once again has lost the Oilers another game. How many more times is it going to take for the Oilers management to wake the F up and realize they need an actual 1B to play with him like Valemka and Gibson? Can't trust Skinner in the playoffs again. You just can't. Right.
And those that might be saying, well, which big name is available? It doesn't have to be a big name. It could be that sneaky guy, what's Lankinen doing in Vancouver? What's he doing? Yep. They got Demko back. Is he available? Did you make a call on him? Did you call on Demko? Yeah, he's struggling right now, but like you gotta try something.
You got to try something. And again, God forbid injury, you got to have somebody to rely on in the event that happens.
Sure.
Here's one from Tyler DT at Quackenbush 17. The Oilers are so hell-bent on keeping Skinner the starting goalie as if they don't have the facts that he's a bad goalie against top teams. Like, who do they exactly think they're going to be playing in the playoffs? Bottom feeders? Buck up and get a F and 1B at the very least.
100%.
I agree.
100%.
I agree.
That sounds like that's the overwhelming sentiment. Do you got any on the other side? Anybody saying anything in defense?
Defense. Defensively, they're like, as far as statistics go, the Oilers are, I think, 14th in the league or something. Like, they're not at the bottom. So it just, as you can tell by it's been like 10, 11 in a row. It falls on the goaltending. Here's another one from Bagged Milk. The Oilers should have stomped the Leafs, but goaltending was the clear difference. Annoying. So that was the last one. And obviously, you can see from that, Wayne, the fan base has spoken. Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
They have been speaking.
We need to do something. And hopefully something happens here, but yeah, that's pretty much it for today's episode. Wanted to, get this one out, and it's unfortunate. Yeah, and it's like I said, are we having this conversation? If the Oilers win that game, we should still be having this conversation. Exactly. Like you said, we need to improve in every area possible. We need to.
And management to just rest on their, on being complacent because, look at where we are in the standings is a cop-out. That's a joke if that's what they're saying. Go and improve your team no matter what, no matter where you are in the standings. Forget about the standings. Improve your team. Don't look at the standings. Just improve your team where you see fit, how you see fit. And better be on the phone day and night to try and do that. And I just can't believe that you are actually trying and you haven't solved it yet. This has been a problem not just this year. This has been a problem going back years. So what does it take to solve it? And why are we witnessing other teams solve it? So enough's enough. That's why this quote from Rob Brown yesterday, God love Rob Brown, is maddening. That they're just going in and they're not looking to, improve their goaltending. They're going to go to the playoffs with Skinner. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
And it was said with authority, buddy. Like, it was said with authority. Like, the Oilers are not looking to get a goalie. They're riding Skinner into the Stanley Cup playoffs. And it's just
then change of management then. Someone who will.
Yeah, I don't know how many more times we can do that. Anyways, thanks so much, Wayner, for taking the time to come on for today's episode.
Thanks for letting me.
Thanks, buddy. That's going to do it for today's episode. And thanks to everyone for watching and supporting the channel. And most importantly, go Oilers, go.
Professional hockey, the channel you need. Oilers on the ice, unstoppable speed. Chasing the cup, we're gonna succeed. With David leading, we're built to exceed.
Professional hockey,